Snacking while losing fat can feel like a trap. You want something quick and satisfying, but somehow those snacks end up being super calorie dense.
There's something real creepy about you, pal.
Snacking isn't the problem. What you're snacking on might be. Today we're going to review snacks that are high in protein, high in fiber, high in volume, and low in calorie. This is designed to keep you full and keep you in your fat loss phase. So why is it that snacking is so deadly? Is it the healthy foods that are causing issues? Is it the ice cream? Is it the cereal? Is it the chips? What kind of treats are really causing issues in your fat loss goals? To start off, I want to get a deeper understanding of what snacks people like to consume and maybe some of the alternatives you can look for and potentially some issues you have with the snacking you're currently doing. So let's do a little bit of reviewing ourselves and see what people are snacking on to get a better understanding of what those snacks are. Take all of these articles with a grain of salt, but we're going to start with Food and Wine's. Here are the most popular snacks in America per state. Per the states and the snacks that they enjoy, let's start by listing some of those off. Alabama, Doritos. Alaska, Rice Krispie Treats. Arizona, Cheetos. Arkansas, Doritos. California, Cheetos. Colorado, Rice Krispie Treats. Holy smokes, Doritos, Doritos, Doritos. Chex Mix, Rice Krispie Treats. Cheetos. Rice Krispie Treats, Rice Krispie Treats, Rice Krispie Treats.
Oh, I can't even say it 3 times fast.
Doritos, Cheetos, Rice Krispies Treats, Doritos.
All right, the list goes on for all 50 states. A lot of people like Rice Krispie Treats. I also like Rice Krispie Treats, so don't get me wrong. They're pretty good. There are snack alternatives that I think can be swapped for a lot of these things. If we're looking at salty things, we can be looking at things like Quest chips. If we're looking at sweet things, I just think it's weird that it's mainly Doritos and Rice Krispie Treats. I feel like there's so many snacks out there. It is interesting. Interesting to note. 25 most popular snacks. This is like a base review, just looking at whatever's on the internet. Based off of Google AI, I want to review this to get a better understanding of what snacks and how many snacks people have in a day. We've looked at what most states enjoy, a lot of Rice Krispie Treats, a lot of Doritos, but how often do we snack? Per Google AI, in the United States, more than 90% of adults snack at least once a day, with the average being 1.2 to 3 snacks per day. Stacking accounts for about 22% of the total energy intake of adults in the US. If you're having multiple snacks in the day and they are a couple hundred calories each, or you have a little fix in here and a little fix in here, a bite of this, a bite of that, and it is unlocked, which it's okay if it is, but you'll most likely pull yourself out of any deficit that you're in. So let's look at better tools that we can use to give us a better likelihood of being successful with our goal. The goal generally in this environment being fat loss. Before we get into the snacks that I enjoy, let's look at some of the common mistakes people are making when they're looking at snacking through the day. One of the most common mistakes is looking at healthy snacks and thinking they are low calorie. A lot of healthy snacks are still packed with calories. Things like nuts, some protein bars, dried fruits, and granola may be nutrient dense to an extent, but it doesn't mean they are void of calories. Those items tend to be pretty calorie heavy and they're really easy to consume a lot of. When we look at snacks as well, we have to look at where you're having them. Generally, it's when you're bored or sitting at home or have a little bit of time in the day to squeeze in a little bit of a treat. For me personally, it's at the end of the day when I've completed my day and just assume that I need a sweet treat. One of the biggest keys is going to be intentional snacking. So either pre-logging the snacks that you're going to have, or if you're gonna have those snacks, just make sure you're having them in a serving size and you're not going through and just munching on things and picking off little pieces of this and little pieces of that, opening the fridge, snagging something and continuing to go off of that. Because if you do that, the calories do add up really quickly. So what should you look for in a snack? Satiety and fat loss play hand in hand. The most filling snacks will have one of 3 things or all 3 things. It'll have protein, it'll have fiber, and it'll have volume. These kinds of snacks will keep you full longer, reducing the amount of calories you're consuming and keeping you on progress. If you are mindful, you will be really successful with your fat loss or just understanding calories a little bit better. I bought so many snacks. Look at all this stuff. When you're picking snacks during a calorie deficit, there are things that you need to keep in mind, like, I don't know if that's gonna show up. Keep in mind the volume of food, fiber, and protein. Those are all things that are gonna be very satiating, that are gonna hit that internal. It's gonna make you feel really, really good. Without further ado, let's get into some of the products that I would recommend having during fat loss. The first thing I'm gonna go over is going to be caffeine. So if we're talking about caffeine, I usually recommend something like black coffee, tea, matcha, etc. These are things that are going to be a stimulant that are going to keep you satisfied through the day, preventing you from additional snacking. It's really easy to have a lot of it if it is 0 calories. Now, I would still recommend staying under 400 milligrams because I don't want you tweaking out through the day. Keep in mind, it's gonna keep you awake, so I would have a cutoff time at like noon or 1. Another caffeine variation that I think is going to be impeccable for your fat loss journey is going to be something like this Spilt beverage. I just found this cookies and cream one. It is extremely good. The nice thing with this is it's 90 calories. It has 20 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, 1 gram of carbohydrates, and 0 grams of fat. Want to know something great about this? This has 60 milligrams milligrams of caffeine in it as well. So if you're not a coffee drinker, you're not a soda drinker, and you want something that's gonna give you a little boost, this is a great option. We're gonna go into some saltier treats because some people don't have a sweet tooth. I personally have a sweet tooth, so I like things that are going to, of course, be sweet. To start, oh, I dropped a bunch of stuff. Quest Protein, Mother Teresa. Let's look at Quest Protein Chips. This is a great snack. Quest Protein Chips, if we're talking macro goals and satiation, we're looking at mainly the protein on this. There's 20 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs, and total fat at 4.5 grams, coming at 140 calories. If you like chips, this is a good alternative. It is not a perfect alternative, but it is an alternative. So if this is going to allow you to subdue that want for some kind of savory chip, this will do the trick. This one is one that I picked up recently. It's a new find. Goldfish Crisps. For 44 pieces, it is a 140 calories. The benefit of something like this is it is majority carbs and there's a little bit of fat, but it is a lot of volume. You're looking at a lot of volume of food. You're able to keep munching on it and it's not gonna do a lot of damage with your calories. Damn, I got spicy dill pickle. I actually don't really like pickles that much. I'm not a pickle guy, which leads me to another point. Pickles are also a great option for a calorie deficit. They are 0 calories. These are a good swap. I'll try them. Let's see if I like them. I don't know. Next on the list, this is one of my favorites. Okay, I hope you can hear me over all the crunchy noises. This is one of my favorites. I love popcorn. Popcorn is fantastic. It's high in volume. You can munch on it for a long time. It's really low in calories. For one serving, which is one bag of this organic popcorn Himalayan pink salt, you are looking at, balancing act, you are looking at a total of 50 calories, 7 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat, less than 1 gram of protein. Again, this is not a protein product, but this is going to be high in volume, so it's gonna keep you satiated. I like to pair this with a little diet soda. Sue me, I like diet soda, okay? Give me a break, that's something for later. Another quick note, single serving packages are your best friend. Really easy to have on the go, and you know exactly what's in it. So you can track it, you can not track it, you can do whatever you want, but it is a contained portion that you can't necessarily overindulge on unless you open another bag. Sometimes you gotta open another bag. Along the same veins, if you have a Trader Joe's near you, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. Trader Joe's is fantastic. And they do have a lot of products there that are really good for fat loss. One being the white cheddar corn puffs. A lot of puff things or baked things tend to be pretty low in calorie and high in volume. For this, 1 ounce, which is 53 pops, is 140 calories. It has 5 grams of fat, 20 grams of carbohydrates, and 2 grams of protein. This is another product that is not going to be very protein dense, but it is high in volume, so it will keep you full for a long time. Next on the list, back to the idea of having protein. Beef jerky. Be careful with beef jerky because a lot of times they can be really carb heavy, and when you're looking at something that should mainly be a protein source, it probably shouldn't be covered in carbohydrates, i.e. sugar in this case. These ones from Kroger are pretty bang up. They are 80 calories per ounce. You're looking at 1 gram of fat, 6 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of protein. So it is a little bit higher in carbohydrates, but if you're not into jerky like this, which I prefer this over the next option, but if you're not into jerky like this, something like a Chomps is gonna do the trick. Chomps are fantastic, same thing. These are pre-portioned, again, to the idea of pre-portioned. If it is packaged like this, you probably won't overdo it. You'll have 1 or 2 servings. One of these, 100 calories, 10 grams of protein, really satiating. Perfect pair with our next savory item, which is string cheese. String cheese is fantastic. One thing you'll notice is there is a little bit of a trend around dairy when it comes to some of the sweeter products, but dairy can be high in protein, and most of the time it is. You just have to be careful around the fat content if it is going to be a snack. For a snack like string cheese, you're looking at 60 calories, 3 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of protein. A couple of these and a little bit of beef jerky or Chomps is gonna do the trick if you're looking for that savory bite in a snack. Okay, the last one of the savory is not something that is an easy snack, but it is something that I do often to 1, hit my fiber, 2, get extra protein in, and 3, it tastes delicious. What you're going to do is you're gonna take a carb balanced tortilla. These tortillas, 70 calories in 1 tortilla, 19 grams of carbs, but it does have 17 grams of dietary fiber. To the idea of fiber, it keeps you satiated, and most people don't get enough fiber anyway, so throwing something like this in is great. Oh, they have 6 grams of protein. That's pretty cool too, I didn't know that. I pair it with mozzarella cheese. This is 60 calories per serving, very similar to the mozzarella cheese sticks. It has 3 grams of carbs, 7 grams of protein. So we're building off that protein. And lastly, I know that sliced meats concern people, but in moderation, I promise you're gonna be okay. We're looking at turkey breast. Take the tortilla, take the cheese, You can throw it in the microwave if you're a savage, but if you're not a savage, a little spray of oil on the pan is gonna be okay. Toast the outside, melt the cheese, and you have a little tortilla with high fiber and high protein. Macros on the turkey: 2 grams of carbs, 9 grams of protein, and 1 gram of fat. Not too bad. So one serving of this is 2 ounces, that's 50 calories. You can throw a couple servings of this, build yourself a little quesadilla, be civil, cook it on a pan, please. Now we've made it to my favorite portion of snacks, which is sweets. How I like to set this up is I will pre-log the goodies that I wanna have in a day around my nutrition goals. Generally, my nutrition goals are going to have 3 servings of vegetables in a day, 2 servings of fruit, enough fiber, so usually like 35 grams of fiber plus, if I can, enough protein for me, anywhere between 150 to 200 grams, depending on what I'm doing. And that is some of the baselines. I want majority of my food to be whole, non-processed foods, but if you've done that and you've done a great job with the day and you have a sweet tooth, this is where we go. One of the easiest ones on the list. Let's start with protein bars. Now, Bear protein bars are one of the better protein bars. If you like other varieties, that's totally fine. They have 20 grams of protein for about 210 calories. Generally for every 100 calories, I like to have about 10 grams of protein to consider it a protein bar. If it's like 200 or 300 calories and 5 grams of protein, it's not really a protein bar. It's usually like a carb or fat bar or an energy bar or whatever you'd like it to be. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I just wouldn't consider it a protein bar. Next on the list, I probably said that 100 times, you're just gonna have to deal with it, is Magic Spoon. These are pretty good too. They're 140 calories for 17 grams of carbs, 12 grams of protein, and 3.5 grams of fat. These are like Rice Krispies if Rice Krispies were a little sad, but had more protein, which makes you happy. So they're like medium bars. I like these because they are quick, efficient, and they give me kind of that Rice Krispie kick. I love Rice Krispie treats, and so does apparently majority of America. But Magic Spoon, if you need something that's going to be like a Rice Krispie treat, this is not a bad option to satiate and allow you to stay on pace with the goals you have. Next on the list, this one's a little more devious. This is more of a volume item. Have this if you are far in a deficit and you need to sacrifice something somewhere. Jell-O, the sugar-free variety, is going to be really beneficial because it's 10 calories per cup. You could have all of these for 40 calories. Quick tip, if you like Jell-O, which is great because I like Jell-O, throw some kind of sugar-free or low-calorie whipped cream or whipped topping on top, and you'll probably be around like 100 calories for all 4 of these. It's a ton of volume. It'll keep you satiated. I'm not going to say it is the most nutrient-dense thing to do, but it is going to keep you full, which is great for fat loss. So next on our list is going to be grapes or frozen fruit. Grapes are awesome. You can eat a bunch of them. Fruit in general, you can eat a lot of. Just be careful with things like maybe bananas. Too many apples could probably affect you a little bit. But little munchins like grapes or frozen mangoes or frozen berries can be a great tool for fat loss because it'll keep you satiated. It's got a little bit of a sugar kick. If you've been in a fat loss phase for a while and you're eating majority whole foods, this might be sweet enough to keep you going. Frozen strawberries can be good. Frozen mangoes are good. Frozen bananas can be great as well. But something to munch on again that is going to be nutrient dense is something like frozen fruit or fresh fruit. Take your pick. We have Premier Protein, 20 grams of protein per serving cereal. If you have the need for cereal, you want to put this on yogurt, or you have a sweet tooth late at night and you want to have something with protein to keep you satiated. Again, you can have a little cereal if you want, but this is just going to have a little more bang for your buck. This comes in at 1 cup being 180 calories, 5 grams of fat, 14 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein in 1 serving. I could eat this whole box. So what I would recommend doing, this is probably the most important thing out of all of this. Most important thing. When you're having your snacks, pair it with something high in protein, high in fiber, or moderate in fat. This will help with digestion. It'll keep you satiated longer. And on top of that, you'll probably get a little more nutrients from it. So something like this. Add this to Greek yogurt. If you need more protein, throw a scoop of protein powder in there. That's gonna be 20, 25, 45 grams of protein. So 45 grams of protein at a minimum would come from pairing this with Greek yogurt or a little bit of protein powder. That's gonna keep you satiated. It's a great thing to use. I wouldn't do this all the time, but every time you have a snack, if you want to successfully finish a fat loss phase and feel pretty good doing it, pair it with something with protein, something with fiber, or something with moderate fats. A good example of that is our next item. I got so much stuff here. With it being as expensive as it was, please like, please share, leave me a follow, say something sweet in the comments, or say something not as sweet. Whatever you want to do to put this on the YouTube Gods page and push it forward. Next on the list, tying towards the idea of making sure we are having enough protein, we are having enough volume with our food, and we are satiated, is going to be Oikos 000. Each of these is 15 grams of protein, 90 calories per serving. I'll have like 2 of these, and then fun thing if you like sweets is take maybe not necessarily a milk chocolate bar, but something that's a dark chocolate bar or a bar that you could have the whole thing for less than 400 calories, break it in half and throw it into your yogurt. What this is going to do is it's going to give you that little sweet kick you're looking for. You're also going to get 30 grams of protein. So if you're going to have chocolate, or if you're going to have anything for that matter that is maybe not on your nutrition plan or that is not in line with what your goals are, have it paired with protein, fiber. A lot of the fiber sources I'd recommend with this are going to be fruits or some kind of veg, which doesn't really make as much sense with sweets, but great combination between the two of these is going to be the chocolate and the Oikos. Throw some berries in there for fiber and you have a great snack. I have that almost every night. Let's move into ice cream products. They have to be on here because everyone loves ice cream. And if you're gonna have ice cream, most pints of ice cream are around 1,000 calories, if not a little bit more, and it's really easy to eat the whole pint. Even if you eat half the pint and you're practicing moderation and portion control, the downfall is it's still around 500 calories. If you have a total calorie intake of 2,000, that's a quarter of your calories, if my math is correct, which it should be. I hope it is, please. These products are great to give you that little sweet kick that you're looking for at the end of the night or in the morning or whenever you decide to do this. I prefer Yasso bars over these little Halo Top pints, but these have gotten better. This is not a direct substitution again. I would not say this tastes just like ice cream, but it is going to give you a little bit of the satiation you're looking for, a little bit of that oomph of having ice cream, and it'll keep you in your deficit. And if your goal is fat loss, you have to make sure you maintain your deficit. For this whole pint, you're looking at 300 calories. If you wanted to have this in a day and you manage your nutrition well and you pre-logged or prepared yourself for what you would like to have in the day, this is a great fit. If not, have a serving or two and move on with your life. I prefer the Yasso bars. Yasso bars are a little bit better. They are 90 to 100 calories per bar, 2 grams of fat, 17 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of protein. This one is one of my favorites. They are pre-packaged, but it's very easy to eat all 4. I don't know how I know this, but I know this. If you're gonna have these, I would have this after your dinner. Make a protein-packed meal, then have this, because if you have this as just a snack, you'll probably have 2, or maybe 4, or maybe 8. So be careful. The last but not least. For some people, this is of the devil, but I am a believer that if you have a little diet soda, either Diet Coke or Coke Zero, or a really good one is sugar-free mug root beer. That one's probably my favorite, actually. It will help with satiation. There's bubbles in it, there's a little bit of caffeine in it, and this will give you the satiation you're looking for to continue to manage your food. Now, the difficult thing with this is if it's the option between having a bunch of ice cream or a real soda, I would opt for this. If you're not currently drinking diet soda or you don't need to drink soda, it's not necessarily something I recommend. Go for something with bubbles in it though.
Oh, the bubbles.
And maybe have a little caffeine if you need it. This is not something I would have at night though. If you're gonna have this, don't have it at night because you're gonna stay up all night and then you're gonna blame me and you're gonna come put a dislike on the video, which I don't want you to do. If you're gonna have a soda late at night, have something that's caffeine free. I would opt for things that are going to keep you full and satiated. With this whole video, looking back at all the jumble of treats that I have over here that are low calorie, high volume, high protein, high fiber, etc. It is important to practice moderation for one and make sure your nutrition around this is pretty good. When you look at any single product, it's very easy to demonize that specific product, but we live in a world where there's processed food everywhere. It's important to know when to have those things, and if you're gonna have those things anyway, it's better to do it in moderation, backed with nutrient-dense meals. I, for one, love ice cream. So if I'm gonna have ice cream, generally I'll try to have something that's gonna be a little lower in calorie, unless it's a day that I've prepared for that specific reason, or I just don't care that day. That happens sometimes. But when I do, and when I wanna focus on making sure that my total calories are in a realm where I'm sustaining a deficit, these are products that I would always go to give you that little bit of a kick to keep you satiated, because our goal is fat loss here. There's a little bit of a difference between health products and products that are low in calorie. For instance, I don't know what's in the Jell-O. Let me look. Water, gelatin, adipic acid for tartness, sodium citrate controls acidity, citric acid for tartness, aspartame. I wouldn't necessarily say this is something you should have every day, but if you are having a great week of nutrition, it's okay to throw something like this in here and there if it's going to keep you satiated and continue to allow you to sustain your deficit. We are looking for long-term success. Long-term success sometimes has to have sacrifice to ensure you can keep your pacing with things. But these are the snacks that I recommend. There's a ton of them. There are so many things that you can throw in every day that are going to keep you satiated and keep you in the game. And that's what we're looking for. We want to have something that keeps you in the game. If we want to look at fat loss, you have to be in a deficit, you have to be satiated, or else you're going to overdo it every day. Back to you, Other Kendall. So to recap from the snack haul, there are a few things that can exist together. You can have healthy snacks that are low calorie. You can also have healthy snacks that are high calorie. You can also have some processed snacks here and there that are going to keep you satiated for longer, allowing you to continue through your goals. But if I were you, I would have snacks that are going to be high in fiber, high in protein, or high in volume. I found the most success choosing the snacks that I really enjoy and keeping them as staples in the house. Another good thing to know, I just bought a bunch of snacks. they're in my house. I am someone, if it's in the house, I tend to eat that thing that's in the house. If you usually eat all of whatever the snack is, so if you get a pint of ice cream and you eat the whole thing, or you get a bag of chips and you eat the whole thing, and you're not good at portion control, what I want you to do is, if you want to have a treat, get that specific treat, have it, enjoy it, but don't keep the rest of it in the house. So generally what I recommend is something like Yasso bars, where you can have 4 if you really want to, but don't keep stock of 4 or 5 bags of these items. This is going to tempt you through the day and it make things a lot harder. In my home, generally what I have is a couple of snacks that I know I'm not going to overindulge on, and the things that I really enjoy, like ice cream or other sweets, I tend to not have as much of in the house. So that way, if I do overdo it a little bit and I consume all of whatever I have, it's not going to affect me later on. And generally, it allows you to have a stopping point. If you are looking at total calories through a given day, these snacks are going to help you a ton. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I post every Monday. I'll be covering people's comments, general questions that people have in the health and fitness space, and questions that my clients often have when they're tackling their goals in health and fitness. Okay, bye.